What's going on, guys? For the next few hours or few days or a few weeks, I'm gonna be working on the Evo. I'm gonna be tearing down the head and see what the damage was, and I'm gonna walk you through step by step how to remove the head on the 4063 Evo. So first up, I'm just gonna be removing some connectors. One of these goes to the O2 sensor, and that's hooked up to the O2 housing or downpipe. Here I have the coil, and make sure your workstation is clean. This is a horrible example of a clean workstation because nothing here is clean right now because I have just so many projects going on. What I like to do is collect a few boxes so that I can label the boxes and put parts in there so that everything stays nice and organized. Now the coils have already been removed, and so has the spark plugs. Those are simply removed by well, the coils can be removed by unplugging this plug here and this plug here, and it's simply held on by a few bolts into the valve cover. Super easy to remove, it just pops out. Spark plug, of course, is exposed after you take the coils out, and of course you just want to use the spark plug tool and remove the spark plugs. So here's my super dirty valve cover that I'm going to be repainting anyways, coming off. And I'm just going to set it here for now. Like I said, I'm going to be repainting it. Alright, so here is the head that's going to have to be coming off. So I'm going to have to remove everything surrounding the head on the intake, exhaust manifold, intake pipe, intercooler pipe. All of these gotta go. So I was already messing with the fuel rail before, so this comes off pretty easy. I just hand tightened it. So fuel rail connectors come off. And make sure you don't lose these black plastic connection pieces here. Definitely gonna need this spacer to put it back in. This piece here. And you should be able to take out your injectors. I have here the 1000cc injectors. And it'll just pop right off. And fuel comes out. Time to get dizzy. Now when you're doing this, I highly suggest that you're doing this in a vented area so you don't get high of this fuel. Alright, so a few injectors are out. I'm gonna set them aside. Put in this nice little box here. And as you can see, I have painter's tape with wars on them to kind of remember where all these connections go. On Evo, especially because it's a boosted car, there's so many hoses going everywhere. Vacuum hoses for boost control, pressure controlling. There's a coolant line for the turbo, there's oil coolant line for the turbo. All these different lines and cables going everywhere. So the more you label as you do this, the easier it is later on when you're trying to assemble everything. Alright, next up, I'm gonna be removing the intake. Just remove this MAF sensor connector, undo the plug to the ball valve here. here I'm using recirculated Voltex valve. I don't recommend using vented atmosphere Voltex valve unless you are on speed density. As all of you know, I'm running the FTP Black Turbo here. It's pretty good size for making 500-ish horsepower. So here's intake. I'm running the car at 32 psi on pump gas. I do plan on going E85 soon, and that should be able to get me up to about 650 horsepower. Hopefully making around 35, 36, 37 psi. So here's a cam angle sensor. You just push that in, remove it, comes out.
Yeah. These are actually catch can.
I'm gonna set it over here. So I got here painter's tape. I'm just gonna take it off. Actually, before I take it off, I'm just gonna write on here, blow off valve. Take that off, tape around this hose. Alright, so that's a blow off valve hose. Removing the radiator is not necessary. I just like to do it because it gives me more space, especially when you're trying to remove the exhaust manifold. Comes right out. And whenever I have nuts like this or bolts like this, I'm gonna tape it together so that I know which bolt goes where. Just like that. So next up, I'm gonna remove my lower intercooler piping. I'm sorry, lower radiator hose clamp. This is the clamp I'm looking at here. Just push it back and pull the coolant hose off.